Hey, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so today's video is about misfires. So I'm going to run you through some troubleshooting that I've done and tell you what I think is going on with the car. First, I want to show you something that, just kind of indicative of having a car with this many miles on and the age and everything. So up front here, you'll notice that I've got these new connectors on my coil packs. So the front three here, the cylinders 4, 5, and 6, the little tab on the side of the connector had broken off of the original ones, and they're part of the wiring harness. Wiring goes down to the alternator and across to the coils, and then also down for the O2 sensors, and then as part of the regular wiring harness that connects back in there. So my choices were to either get that part of the harness new, or I could have tried to scrounge one off an Accord at a junkyard if I could find a V6 one, or I found that O'Reilly's actually sold these connectors, so I just had to wire them in. So my old ones, that clip had broken off, and then here on cylinder 5, that blue plastic on the inside here, the plastic had just become so brittle over the years from all the heat it had been exposed to for so long that that blue plastic actually just disintegrated, just cracked and shattered on the other one. So had to get these replaced. So not a big deal. Put those on. Didn't help my misfire. So I've had a minor misfire idle for a little bit now with this car, and the shop did a leak down test on the cylinders, and probably needs a valve job, and I talked about that in one of the other videos. But the misfire has gotten much worse. This last week and a half or so got quite a bit worse. So I wanted to go through and well, first thing I did was I had some extra coil packs, so I went through and swapped them one at a time to see if one of the cylinders maybe showed a change, but there was really no change on any of them, so it wasn't any of the coil packs. So then next thing I did was pulled all the spark plugs out. Now this spark plugs had about 30,000 miles on them when it started acting up, and these NGK plugs I run, I've been typically getting right at 100,000 miles before they start going bad, and when they do go bad, it will misfire like crazy and get the check engine light on. But I pulled all the spark plugs out and found that cylinder number 1 was all carbon fouled. So this plug is from cylinder number 1 back here on the passenger side of the car by the firewall. So it was carbon fouled. All the rest of them look pretty good. So the rest of them look like they should for having 30,000 miles on them. So problem with cylinder number 1, and knowing that now kind of makes sense. Some of the stuff I've been hearing for a little bit. I've had some pinging sound under just really light acceleration, and it sounds like it's coming from over on the passenger side when I was sitting inside the car. So that would make sense. Cylinder number 1 acting up right there by the firewall on the passenger side of the car. So let's go take a spin real quick, see if we can tell anything. I can feel it when I'm driving, but let's see if you can hear it in the video. Alright, so there's current mileage. Oh, come on, there we go. Just shy of 923,000. So yeah, I can already hear it in the exhaust. It's not ticking as bad now as it has been, but it's been kind of sound like a diesel. Alright, so let's take a spin down the road here and see if you can tell anything. Yeah, the engine light flashes because it's detecting, multiple misfires. But really struggling when I first take off in it. Once I get above 2,500 RPMs, it does smooth out. So I've actually driven probably 3,000 or 4,000 miles like this, just from doing deliveries and everything. So it's still drivable. My gas mileage has suffered a little bit. I checked it last night. Normally, when I'm doing mostly highway driving, I can get about 28.5-ish or 28.2, something like that. And it was down to like 25.6. So quite a difference from what it normally is. Yeah, you can just kind of tell it's not running on all cylinders properly. There you go. Like when you run, give it acceleration at kind of low RPM there, it really acts up like it's doing now. That's fourth gear. So at this point, because I know I've got decent plugs in there, I replaced plug number 1 with another new plug, and it fouled immediately. Like I checked it the very next week, and it's already fouled again. So, you know, spark plugs are good. I did a spark test on the cylinders, and even cylinder number 1 is showing good spark test. So it's sending the signal for the spark plug. But I think that it's just the fuel injector that's acting up, that's not letting it, not giving enough fuel and causing carbon fouling. I've got an appointment with the shop tomorrow, so they'll put it on their machine. Gonna check the compression on the cylinders and then kind of go from there. If it is something like the fuel injector or something else relatively minor, you know, we'll go ahead and fix it and everything will be fine. But if it does have a loss of compression on one of the cylinders, then, you know, I'm just going to end up driving it, try to get it over the 1,000,000-mile mark, and then, you know, we'll see from there. All right, let's go. Yeah, you can hear it when I'm letting out on the clutch there. It's just struggling to take off. And there, it smooths out that higher RPM. You can even see the check engine light steadies out there too, so really acts up at lower RPMs. Once you get above 2,500 though, it seems to act okay. So, you know, going down the highway at 70 or 75, it tends to run okay. The engine light will flash every once in a while, but it's not constant like it is at these lower RPMs. Yeah, you can tell, and I can feel just the lack of acceleration's clearly not running on all 6 cylinders at this point. So these are the original fuel injectors. The only time the intake's been off the top of the engine has been to replace the valve cover gaskets, which was done around 640,000 if I recall correctly. Yeah, you can just hear it's not smooth acceleration there. Let's go ahead and go back. Yeah, you can hear that boom, 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 boom. We'll see up higher, it acts okay. Sixth gear at low RPM just shudders and doesn't sound right. Yep, so original fuel injectors. I've run some cleaner through there, and you know, like I was talking about a while ago with the pinging sound, another thing that kind of is making more sense now is I ran some really good fuel cleaner through this as part of this, you know, troubleshooting, trying to clean everything out, and the really good BG 44K fuel cleaner. Normally this thing just runs like completely new car when I put that in the tank, and when I did it this time it still was acting up. So that was definitely a signal for me that something was not quite right. Not really hearing the pinging sound, but under just slight acceleration, sometimes it'll make the sound. Let's check fifth, see if it'll do it. No, so that sounds at least better now than it was. But with it immediately found that other plug, just, you know, I'm really thinking all that's left is the fuel injector, since I've got good spark there. I mean, or lost compression, but I really am hoping and thinking that's not the case. So if it is a fuel injector, I'm gonna have them all checked while they're in there, might as well. And then, you know, if one's bad at this point, they're probably all about shot, so more than likely we'll replace all of them. So as long as that's the issue, then I'll go ahead and put the money out for that and replace those and move on, go on to 1,000 or 1,000,000 miles. Now there's the diesel sound. Really hear from back here. Yeah, it's never sounded like this its entire life. So hoping that tomorrow it's going to get all solved. So I'll go ahead and do a follow-up to this and tell you what it was. So, all right, thanks for watching. We'll see what the result is here shortly. Hey, so back with an update from the shop. So the fuel injector being bad would have been one of my better case scenarios, but unfortunately, as you can see here, cylinder 1 has no compression. They narrowed it down to an exhaust valve that's causing the problem. So at this point, I'd either have to get a valve job on these heads, get some different heads for the engine, or just choose to drive it as is. So in the interest of trying to get this car to 1,000,000 miles on the original engine, I'm going to just drive it. So my mechanic said that everything should be fine, just expect lower fuel economy, which I'm already experiencing, and then, you know, the lack of power, rough idle, things like that. But like I said earlier, I've already put a few thousand miles on it in the condition it's in. So he said I should be able to drive it for a good long while like this, and so that's what I'm going to choose to do. Now, once I get to 1,000,000 miles, who knows, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, that's the plan. We're just going to keep on driving it and hope it makes it the rest of the way. All right, thanks a lot for watching.